gate into this neutral place of being 100% okay with all the possibilities that are there, it also means there's no negative desires. So a negative desire example would be, I want this because I'm afraid of that. I want a relationship because I'm afraid of being alone. I want to be rich because I'm afraid of being broke. Make sense? Those are negative desires, because and think about what ineffective way of making choices that plays into, like we did, what I think was that last week or 2 weeks ago, that would probably be problem solving, resolving something, choosing something to fix something else. But in this case, it's more like choosing something because you're afraid of the alternative. You're afraid of being broke, so you're choosing to be rich. You're afraid of being alone, so you're going to choose a relationship. So then what we're going to do is we're going to collapse all of it into the center, into the neutral place, and then you're going to choose them both at the same time. And then we're going to recode that. And then you're just going to to me, it always seemed like I could just, it became so clear what I really loved, what I really wanted in this process. I could just reach up and pick it. I choose that. I'm just going to pick it and bring it in. So I'm going to walk you through it. That might have all been a little bit confusing. But again, anything that we give our power to, anything that we resist, we give our power to. And I'll go back to that saying again, what we resist persists. I don't know whoever came up with that. That's an old saying. And people are more committed to not failing instead of creating. And if you're committed to not failing and you're doing things to not fail, it takes you out of that end result. It takes you out of creation, because now you've given all that power again and you're not just creating. But we're going to learn tonight to accept everything that's there. So does this seem kind of crazy that you're going to choose what you don't want? How you guys feeling? This was a tough one for me. I'm like, what? You want me to choose what I don't want? Yeah, you can type in the chat if you want. I'm just curious how you're feeling about that. I think the other thing I want to point out is that, success is different to everybody. What I think about and what I value as success is going to be, it's so funny because the chats don't show up. I'm just going to say, somebody said starts biting nails. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm going to give you lots of examples as we go through it. I was just going to give you one, and I already, the biting nails made me forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, success is different for everybody. So for some people, they equate success with being rich, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's what's successful to them. Maybe somebody else feels successful if they have a little farm and they're self-sufficient and they have all their own food and grow their vegetables and butcher their animals, and they don't need a lot of money, but that would be wealth to them. To me, success is, you guys know I have a successful, what would be considered a successful practice. I have a very full practice. I'm very blessed and I love, 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 love what I do. But what's really successful to me is when I can be in a place that I have balance in my life, that I feel really successful when I don't work, I don't live to work. I work to live. Well, I want that balance of, of my work time, my career, my job time, and then my wellness, my time outside, painting, these things that I love and enjoy. To me, that's successful. When I have that balance in my life, that feels really successful to me. Does that make sense? So everybody's version of success is going to be very different. So, again, no comparing with what everybody else wants or does and what they think is successful. And if they say to you things, what you want doesn't seem successful, well, maybe it is to you, and you don't have to worry about, what they want to say. So I'm going to do this drawing now. So what we're going to do, okay, can you see this okay? Turn that a little more. This is you. This is you in the center with your end result. And when we start, I'm going to have you have a choice. Choose one of your specific choices, or choose one of the core four. We're going to choose an end result. So that's you in the middle with your true choice. Okay. Then we're going to have you choose what you don't want to happen. So this is what you fear, what you want to avoid. These are the things that you don't want to happen. And the circumstances too that you don't want to happen. Whatever it is that you don't want to happen. Failure, that's a good one. So, failure. And I'm gonna have you write down what that is, and we're gonna choose it. And what happens then is resistance starts popping in. Just like when we choose the end result and your resistance comes up. So when we choose this, the resistance is going to start popping in. And then we're going to choose what we do want, that desired end result. Now you can see why it's called the double bubble. So this is what we want. This is the desired end result. This is success, we'll say. This is what? Really success, your desired end result. I don't think we need to say more about it than that. And then when you choose that, just like when we normally do a recode, resistance is going to pop in to the active experience. So now the failure and fear and what you want to avoid is an active experience, and your desired result and your success is an active experience. And then all the negative, whenever we choose each of these things, all the negative desires will be triggered into the active experience, and the superconscious will treat that. Let me just throw another little curveball at you. So here's the thing. Even when we choose the desired end result, there's probably some negatives in there. And even when we choose what we fear or want to avoid, or failure, there's actually some positives in there. So let me see if I can give you a couple of examples. So let's say I choose, I want to be abundant. I want to be rich. I want more money than I can spend. And then kind of what might pop in is, well, then I'm going to have to, what would be the negative of that? I'm going to have to get an accountant, and God, maybe I'd have to hire staff. And what if I don't really know how to handle that much money? Do you see what I'm saying? Those could be considered sort of negatives of this experience. Well, I'm choosing a healthy, loving relationship. And for the men that watch this, please don't be offended. This is my woman perspective. And how am I going to have to give up all my freedom? And I gotta worry. I gotta cook dinner for somebody else every night. And, do they have habits I don't like? And I share my house, and I don't have all my alone time. See what I'm saying? So there's always little negatives that can pop in with this positive end result we want. And there's always positives that could pop in here. So say we're afraid of, I'll go back to money. Say we're afraid of being broke, and we're afraid of, whatever would make us broke, losing our job, or something happening that took all our money, or whatever. But even though you're afraid of that, doesn't money have a positive side as well? Wouldn't it, but if you had money, you would be able to afford a rent or a mortgage payment, and you could pay for healthcare and good food, and there's positives to money. So even though I'm separating these out into negatives and positives, our fears and what we want to avoid, and our desired end results in success, even embedded within those, some of the things that will pop in will sort of be the opposite. Are you guys following me, or have I totally confused you now? Give me a yes if you're following me. Okay, good. Other guys, I got one yes. All right, cool. So then when we are in both places, oh, and I forgot to draw this. So all of this is within the superconscious field. And when we start doing this, there's probably even some things in the superconscious field that are going to get triggered into the active experience. This is a big one. Making these choices and having this stuff come up is big. And then we get in that neutral place that we've talked about several times before, having it all. And this is the place, oh, because I love you guys. Look at, that's the place where we have it all. Yeah, that's the magic moment. That's where the magic happens. That's where creation happens. That's where we're the same no matter what happens. That's the place of knowing that all the potentials are there. And we're not going to keep our focus here. We're still going to keep our focus on our desired end result. But this is a process really to bring it all up and bring it all in. And it's pretty powerful. What do you think so far? So let me see how I'm on time. Oh, we're good. So this process is kind of long. This recode and doing this whole process is kind of long because we're embedding the recode into the process. Oh, we've got a couple more people on now. Hi, guys. Glad you're here. So glad you're here. If you missed the very beginning of it, you can always hit replay and catch up on anything that you missed a little bit. So I think I just explained everything that's happened. And then you're going to hear a command, and I think I've used it before, but I can't honestly remember. And I'm going to ask the superconscious to tag and treat. And I may have used that before, but tagging is just a quick way for the superconscious to remember what popped up in that metaphor of the soccer field and in the order that it came in so that it can come back and treat it later. So it's kind of tagging things to treat later on as we go through this process when everything starts coming up. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start with a choice. Let's just start. So think of the choice that think of one of your choices. It kind of almost doesn't matter. If you have a really specific one around something you're creating that hasn't been created yet, you can choose that. You can choose one of the core four. You can choose health and vitality. You can choose the big broad one of I choose to live a life I love, and see what comes in with that. So jot down what choice you're going to work with. I'll give you a second to decide and do that.